Hello everybody, welcome to All About Music. Today's show is sponsored by Vitamin Water, so thank you to them. My name is Anna and I'm going to be interviewing Caleb about singers. So Caleb, my first question, what should singers do to start an early career?
Well, one thing they should do is they need to learn how to interpret music and text. They need to learn how to write music. Also, another individual thing they need to do is figure out their vocal pitch range, whether it's bass, baritone, soprano, tenor. Once you find that out, you need to start really honing in on your skills of where you've been placed at, whether, like I said, you're soprano, baritone, or bass. Also, choose your genre of music you want to perform in front of your thousands of adoring fans.
Thank you. Also, what training or education should singers get in order to boost their individual career?
Training should, first off, you need to have a large amount of knowledge in voice production. Also, educate yourself on between melody and harmony, whether you're singing by yourself or with other people. Also, I think it's a great idea for singers to get a degree in it, not only to boost your resume, to make yourself look better, to whether you're getting a record deal or with a company, but also you should just educate yourself because, what's the harm in just educate yourself in what you want to be doing for the rest of your life? Also, being able to audition in front of audiences. You can't be as nervous. You have to be able to do that. Also, you should try to find private voice classes wherever you go. If you go to university or you find someone in your town or city that gives private classes, take those classes because you'll be learning and honing your skills.
Thank you, Caleb. You heard it here first. One more question for you. What should singers expect during their career?
What they should expect is you're going to have a knowledge of what types of agents you're going to want to hire, because that, for one thing, will boost your growth. Also, you're going to want to find record deals with small third-party companies, because that's where you're really going to start off, because you're not going to have a bunch of finances. At least most people don't have a bunch of finances to start their music career, because let's be honest, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, singers earn about $46,000 a year, which comes out to about an hourly wage of $22.40. But of course, that varies on whether it's a record deal, how small you are, how big you are, how famous you are. So it all just depends on that. Also, people need to realize how disciplined they need to be with their finances and just committing themselves also to singing and honing their skills, because there's going to be times where you're going to be unemployed and it gets hard.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for enlightening
Thank
us
you.
all. Next, we have Madison talking about bands.
Hi, I'm Paris Logue, and this is Madison Levine with me here to talk about bands. Hi Madison, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing great. Alrighty, so everyone wants to know how you form a band. So what's the first step?
Well, the first step would probably be to determine your music style. Do you want it to be rock? Do you want it to be hip-hop, country, gospel? You really need to figure that out so that you can really have a plan for how you want your band to go.
Awesome.
Then you want to find some musicians, and you want to pick a name. You want to pick a name that's catchy. You want to pick a name that's going to draw in crowds. Then you're going to need to get instruments. You're not going to have a trombone in a pop band. That's just not done. So you want to really find instruments that go along with your band. Then you need to choose your group dynamic and then write songs.
So you mentioned group dynamics. Why is this important and what is it?
Well, according to Lauren Wiseman from the Artist's Guide to Success in the Music Business, she said that there are two different types of group dynamics. You can have a dictatorship where one person is like the lead of the band and they really make all the decisions and really lead the group. Or you can have a democracy where everyone is sort of on equal footing.
Awesome. So as a band manager, what would say you'd be looking for in a band member?
Well, first you're going to need to have talent, whether it's instrumentally or vocally, etc., those kinds of things. You don't really need a formal education. It's really helpful to know what you're doing and what you're talking about, but there's no degree required for that. And differences may be present, whether it's a folk band or whether it's a pop band, you're going to have different sounds, so the level of developing the voice is going to be different. And then relationally, Lauren Wiseman also said that it's kind of like being in a committed relationship. You need to work on compromise and have good conflict resolution. You need to all be on the same page, because if you're not, you can really bring down the entire band. And then you want to be committed. It's not just a hobby for a lot of people, and you really need to know if people in your band are committed or if they just want it to be a side job.
Awesome, thank you. So, what can a new band expect in the music industry?
Well, first thing you need to know, it's just more than just playing music. You need to know what you're up against physically, emotionally, financially, and creatively. You need to find what best benefits you as a band with producers and managers. You need to really split up jobs. Before you have a manager, you need to have someone who does marketing. You need to have somebody who picks venues. You need to have somebody who is the treasurer that handles all the money. You really need to have that. And then you need to know what your profits are going to be like. It's really different depending on your band size. According to Billboard, superstar bands can have from $14 million to $70 million a year. However, cover bands can only earn up to $1,000 to $2,500 per gig. So it really just depends on that. And then lastly, you need to know that everyone's a critic. Not everyone is going to love your music. And you just really need to have a tough skin for that.
Wow, thanks for that. So, now that we've gotten all that out of the way, what is the best part about being in a band?
It's probably the fans, getting to perform your favorite songs, their favorite songs, and for them, and just really getting to show them how much you appreciate all that they've done for you and your band.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Madison. Next, we have Anna Martin and Caleb interviewing about choir directors.
Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking with Anna about choir directors. So Anna, what does a day in the life of a choir director look like?
Thank you, Caleb. Overall, a day in the life of a choir director includes providing oversight and administration, so the business aspect of it, and then it also involves composing and leading performances. And then it can even, in an educational setting, if you work for a school as a choir director, it can include holding music education classes. So it's kind of all three of those things.
Very cool. What is the average salary of a choir director?
Thank you, Caleb. The average salary of a choir director is $49,000. I'm sorry. $49,000, but obviously there's different sorts of jobs. As a choir director, you can work at a church, you can work at a school. So just for an example, those employed by religious organizations can earn a mean of $52,000, so it's a little bit above the average, so that's just a perspective for you.
Is there any previous training required to be a choir director?
Yes, there is previous training. So in general, the music experience is expected to be a choir director, and just the demonstrated ability in music directing is just expected and required to be a choir director.
What is the projected job growth of this career?
The projected job growth is 3%, which covers all music directors and composers.
Okay, what are some of the responsibilities that go along with your job?
Some of the responsibilities just include selecting music, conducting rehearsals, choosing individual singers for solos, choosing accompanists, choosing the different roles that the musicians will take on, and choral directors may also be required to handle the administrative tasks, like I said before, so the business aspect of things. So, so those are some of the responsibilities.
All right, last question.
Okay.
What is the best part of your job?
The best part of my job is seeing the growth of the musicians and seeing the way that they learn and take on their tasks of learning music and improving in the way that they perform. They really love what they do, and it's amazing to see that.
Very cool. Well, next we have Madison interviewing Paris.
Thank you, Caleb. I'm here with Paris, and I'm going to talk to her about music producers. Paris, first of all, what is a music producer?
Well, music producer is a very broad job. It has so many different rules, roles, and responsibilities, and some of those responsibilities are writing, arranging, producing, and recording songs for other artists and their own projects, according to careersinmusic.com.
That's really cool. How much money do they make annually?
It's a really broad range. Average, they make about $49,000 per year, but it can range from $25,000 to $1 million.
That's awesome. What do they actually do?
Well, they have, like I said before, many roles and responsibilities. Some of those are budgeting, as in like taking care of the pay rates for the recording studios, and they compose and they arrange like different lyrics and chords to make the song sound better and more accustomed to what the artist is looking for. And they tend to do a lot of collaborating with the artists, and even they even perform and do their own like music with the artist just to get that sound right. Some other things they do, they hire musicians or programmers, they can make demos, book rehearsals, and they can even do some mixing and mastering.
That's a lot of work. That's awesome, though. Do music producers need any specific skills, education, or training to do all of those things?
Well, they don't need any required education. They can go to school for their bachelor's and get 4 years of experience just learning the business aspects and just the technical things about producing music. But they can also do things like just honing their musical skills, learning about musical instruments, and just like working on their people skills, because they're going to be doing a lot of collaborating with other people, and they're going to work on their engineer skills so that they can work with the engineers who actually do the producing and mixing and stuff like that. And they're going to want to work on their computer and tech skills. They'll be working a lot with music boards and stuff like that. And then they're going to want to know a lot about music theory and songwriting so that they can just converse with the artists about what they want.
Wow. How would someone become a music producer?
Well, becoming a music producer is, it seems easy, but it's a long process. First, you're going to want to learn from professionals and get into the atmosphere of music producing. So you're going to go into a music studio and like just work with the other people in the recording studio, get to know them, and you're going to want to network with everybody. You're going to want to be able to make yourself an asset so that when an artist like starts liking you, they'll be able to be like, hey, I want that person to work with me next. That's very important, that you make yourself important. So you also want to be relaxed and confident and just know what you're doing so that you can be composed, confident, and aware of everything that's going on around you. And that was definitely emphasized by the music production school. And so you're going to want to be able to gain access to the recording studios, and you're going to want to bond with the studio owner and gain his trust so that you have access to the studio at all times. So if you really want to be a music producer and you want to make your dreams come true, then you're going to have to work hard and do your best at it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Paris. Well, that's all the time we have here for All About Music. Thank you so much for tuning in.